Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here. Been a lot of reports in the papers this morning and on TV and radio about a report issued by the American Astronomical Association. 3 research papers which point to the sun going to sleep. I just wanted to show you some of the facts really associated with it, and really the jury is out still on how much impact the sun has, or fluctuations in the sun have on the climate of the earth. I just want to show you a few graphs really, and you can draw your own conclusion from it. These are facts. One of the problems with global warming and with climate change is that there is so much facts coming in from every single direction that it just creates a mass and muddle in between. So I just wanted to show you a few things really. This is the graph of temperatures on top of the Greenland ice sheet going back to almost 11,000 years ago. Here's the present time, here's 11,000 years ago, and here interestingly is CO2 for the same period reconstructed from the ice cores. Now you'll notice how temperature varies naturally through the atmosphere, and really the important periods that I want to look at here is the Little Ice Age, because it's during this Little Ice Age that you'll hear talk of the Maunder minimum, and this is a famous time in sunspot record because it was when the sun was very, very quiet and the atmosphere appeared to go very, very cold. So I'll show you more about that in just a moment. But what's interesting from this chart, I always think, is look at the rise in CO2. See how it's been gradually increasing over thousands of years, and we've seen a very, very sharp increase recently. Now we're currently way off the chart up to about here, so you can see that there's been quite an increase in CO2 during the recent few years, but that it actually has been increasing since about 7,000 years ago. Now the next chart I want to show you is the sunspot running mean of sunspot numbers since 1700. And here you can see how there's a natural fluctuation and a cycle within a cycle of sunspot numbers, and we just headed down now into a minimum period. In fact, we've just come off the minimum. We're heading back up to another sunspot cycle, but it looks as if that's going to be curtailed somewhat. Let me show you this chart. This is the latest prediction going from, and the actuals, which go from January 2000 right the way through to January 2019, and you can see we're here at the moment in May 2011, and we've seen a fall off in sunspot numbers in the last month, but still predicting to go up and peak at around 2013, early 2013, before we fall off quite significantly after that. So certainly this sunspot cycle is weaker than the previous sunspot cycle around the turn of the millennium. Now this is an irradiance chart. This is the power from the sun, the irradiance chart from the sun, reconstructed back to 1610. These charts, by the way, are from climateforyou.com. Very good website. If you've got an hour or so to go and have a look through, get yourself familiar with the climate, certainly worth doing. So here we are, look, irradiance from the sun, look, dips markedly. This is the Little Ice Age period within here, and then it rises. We take a dip in the early 1800s, and then we rise again, dip down into the late 1800s, and then we take this quite sharp increase into present time. So you can see how the sun's activity fluctuates and how its output fluctuates over time, and we did see this real minimum here during the middle part of the 17th century. So how does that relate to temperature? Well, as I said, the jury's out on whether sunspots and temperature are directly related, but if you put together a chart of sunspot numbers and reconstructed temperatures, you can certainly see that there's a peak here, a peak here, peak here, peak here, peak here, peak here, and a peak here, with a kind of a peak trying to come in here. This going back to 1960. So there does appear to be some sort of link, although very much it's not really understood as to what that link is and how much influence it actually has, and whether man's influence on the climate, or potential influence on the climate, is overcoming that in itself. So what I wanted to show you there really is that there is some sort of causal link here between the two, but really just to show you that there are natural fluctuations that take place over long periods of time, look, in the atmosphere, both in terms of temperature and in terms of the sun, and really that link isn't totally understood. I guess you could say that effectively this could be make or break for climate change science, because should temperatures fall off, if we do go into a minimum again and they come down dramatically, then that does show that the sun does have quite an impact on the longer term Earth's climate position. Okay, hope that's been interesting to you. Sorry to waffle on for so long, and thanks for watching.